My name's Paul, welcome to Paul Perambulates. In this month's Paul Perambulates, I'm in South Wales, in the Bannau Brycheiniog, climbing Pen-y-Fal, Sugar Loaf. My start point is the lay-by at Portha Park, just north of Abergavenny. Postcode NP7 7HU. Grid reference SO28891663. What 3 words? Diplomats, dentistry, quietly. There are 3 ridges running in parallel, extending southward from the summit, and of those I take the easternmost via Twyn-yr-Allt and Deri. Completing my northward traverse of the ridge, I turn west and head towards the summit, circling it to the north side to approach the summit plateau from that direction. I explore the summit plateau from end to end and then, continuing westward, drop down to begin my descent. I follow the westernmost ridge, Mynydd Pen-y-Fal, in a southerly direction. From there, I drop into St.Mary's Vale and then navigate my way carefully across country back to the lay-by. Total distance, 12.3 kilometres. Total height gain, 640 metres. Total walking time, 4 hours and 10 minutes. This is the Park Lodge East car park. Long, windy, narrow road to get to it, but perfectly drivable. And then it's just a concrete area off the side of the road with about a dozen spaces. It's Sunday morning in the middle of summer. It's quite early, so at that time of year when the weather's nice, if you want to get a space here, you'll need to get along early. The map says you can go straight up the valley past Park Lodge Farm, but I'm going to take that ridge to the east because that's a much more interesting looking route and we'll get high nice and early. Shows a reservoir here, but no open water, and it looks like it's a covered one. All very overgrown and rusty though, so presumably disused. In the bottom of the valley we need to cross to get across to the ridge. There's a beautiful little stream. You can cross by bridge or ford, and anyone who's watched any of my channel will know how much I love that sound. Big steep climb up through woodland to Twyn-yr-Allt, apologies for the pronunciation, which is the hill at the start of that ridge. But any hill walk that doesn't have a big steep climb near the start is not worthy of the name. Very pronounced tree line here, just emerging out from it now towards the top of Twyn-yr-Allt. And when you do that, of course, it's the wow moment. Suddenly you can see. In particular, we get our first clear view of Sugar Loaf. Called that apparently because it looks like a sugar loaf. I've never seen one, so I wouldn't know. The Welsh name is Mynydd Pen-y-Fal, mountain at the head of the peak. Path along the first part of the ridge dips back below the tree line, so not much to see from here. But a pleasant walk among the trees. Lots of fern growth. Heading for the middle of summer now. Just topping out a little hill halfway along the ridge called Deri, and as I do so the mountain comes splendidly into view. Once over the top of that, I can see how simple the nav is going to be. There's a wall going along the ridge further down. I'll follow that up and then take a left at the end and straight up to the top. Once you get to this point, taking the path along this ridge, highly recommended. Fabulous view of the mountain in front of you, and then plenty to see either side. The path itself, short grass, just about the easiest mountain walking that you could ever really wish for. I'm continuing to handrail this wall all the way along to the end of it. It's on the map, nice and easy to follow. There's another little top along the ridge, but I'm going to go round that one. I think I'll get all the views I'm going to need from up there. Just before we get to the end of the ridge, we're dipping back below the tree line again into a really quite atmospheric spot. You can hear the crows in the background. It's like one of those gothic horror movie scenes. Sudden real change of atmosphere. Even though I've been this way before, that sudden change of atmosphere from 1 minute out on a nice open sunlit ridge to then suddenly sort of plunged into sort of slightly darker, more mysterious woodland. It's really quite taken me by surprise, actually. I'm at the end of the ridge now, about to head on round left and get right up onto the mountain. This is actually a National Trust estate here, Park Lodge. You may recognise that name. The other end of it is down where the car park is, so it's actually quite huge and stretches all the way up the valley. You can go in there and walk around, but I'm more interested in that. Onto the slopes of the actual mountain itself now. It's going to get very, very steep here. It's going to be quite hard work, but it's obviously going to be worth it when we get there. More of a classic type mountain path now. Very rocky. And at this point it's so steep I can't see the summit. I'm probably going to say in my monologue at the end that Sugar Loaf is a nice easy mountain to climb. Certainly don't feel like that right now. It has what is called a concave slope. That means it actually gets steeper and steeper as you go up until you actually arrive on the summit, at which point you're very, very thankful. I've come right round to the north side now, looking at the Black Mountains. I've got a choice of paths here. I can continue on round, or I can go straight on up, and that's what I'm going to do. Another type of mountain path here, so popular that people's feet have worn footholds. Makes it slightly easier underfoot. The higher we go, the rockier it gets. At the edge of the summit plateau, It's very rocky indeed. I've never been up this way before, but it's definitely the most interesting route. Nearly there now, can see people on the summit. I think I'll put the camera away to do this bit. I need my hands free. It's a long way down there and very rocky. On the summit plateau now, looking back at the way I've just come up. Top of Sugar Loaf, Mynydd Pen-y-Fal, 596 metres. Sugar Loaf stands slightly apart from the other mountains, and that means from the top of it we get an excellent view of the Bannau Brycheiniog to the northwest. To the south we can see out over the Bristol Channel, and then coming round the rolling hills and valleys of South Wales. On the other side of the channel is my hometown of Clevedon. Unfortunately, neither my eyes nor my camera are good enough to pick it out clearly. Far away to the west, the distinctive shapes of Pen-y-Fal and Corndee, the highest points of the Bannau Brycheiniog. Just to the north of here, the Mynydd, the Black Mountains. We can see Wynfach and Pen-y-Fal here. Well, it might be the middle of summer, but it's a bit chilly up there. So I've climbed down the side a little bit, layered up, and I'm having a coffee. Cheers. My lunch view to the east takes in Skirrid-Fawr, the rolling country of Monmouthshire, and the southern end of the Offa's Dyke path. There's clearly going to be some path work here. Big bags of stones dropped by helicopter. Heading down to the other end of the summit plateau now to get a good look at the way I came up and the way I'm going to go down. Looking at the ridge I came up now from the southern end of the summit plateau. Twyn-yr-Allt at the end of the ridge, Deri halfway up. Up to the corner of the woods where I turned to climb the last part. I'm shortly going to drop down off the southern side of the summit plateau, and I'll follow this path which will take me along the westernmost ridge, Mynydd Llanwenarth, which I'll follow all the way down. Steep and rocky path down. I'll be putting the camera away and getting the sticks out now. I'm off the steep part of the path now, so I've put the walking poles away. Also layered down, it's not quite so chilly down here. But there's the lesson. Might be summer, it can still be bloody cold on top of a mountain, so always take the layers. Now I'm down off the steep part. Once again, it's nice easy walking along the ridge. The path's nice and wide and the grass is short. This is what the top looks like, looking back up from Mynydd Pen-y-Fal. Seems a long way away, even though I was only just up there. Halfway down Mynydd Pen-y-Fal, we get this car park. Now this would take out a lot of the height gain if you started from here, although some people might call that cheating. Even if you just drive up here and have a picnic right by the car park, you'll still get these excellent views. It's quite big, about 30 spaces. Very, very busy today though, as I imagine it would be on any nice day in the summer. The nice easy walking underfoot continues all the way down. I'm heading down towards the bottom of Mynydd Pen-y-Fal now, about to go back below the tree line, so I'll lose all these brilliant views. Way warmer down here, so I've layered down again. On my way down through the woods now. This area is called St.Mary's Vale. Mind your head. Lovely and cool and quiet. We're at the bottom of St. Mary's Vale now. Here's the stream, that lovely sound of running water. The route takes us alongside it for a while so that we can enjoy the music of the great outdoors. And at the end, to get across it, there's a beautifully appointed little footbridge. On into the woods. Reasonably confident I'm homing in on the car park now, but I have to warn you that the micro nav just around the very last bit is a little bit complicated. I had to stop and have a few really good thinks about it, so take a great deal of care on this last bit. Sugar Loaf, or Mynydd Pen-y-Fal to give it its full Welsh name, was the first mountain I was ever taken to when I began training for my Scouts Association hill walking instructor role, and it can be very useful for that sort of thing. It has 3 ridges extending southwards from it, and you can mix and match those when planning your routes to arrive at exactly the required degree of difficulty. If you want to use it as a training mountain, you can. If you want to get a longer walk out of it, you can. That's what I've done today. I've taken the easternmost ridge up, and then I've come down the westernmost ridge. If you want to make it really easy, we saw the car park on Mynydd Pen-y-Fal. That's already 320 metres up, so you've only got another 270 height gain to get to the summit. So if you want to try out a mountain to see how you get on, that's probably the best way to do it. It certainly is a proper mountain. It's on Trail Magazine's 100 Peaks to Climb, and the views from the top are absolutely spectacular. It's set slightly away from the rest of the beacons, so there are no neighbouring peaks to obscure your view of the wider area. Whichever way you choose to do it, I would thoroughly recommend it. All maps and 3D fly-throughs provided by kind permission of Ordnance Survey through their excellent OS Online application. Big thanks also for all music used in this video to mixkit.co and upbeat.io. Specific song and artist credits can be found in the comments. These videos are designed to show you around the routes I walk in case you're considering doing them yourself. They are not designed to be any kind of hill walking training or guidance. If you need hill walking skills, obtain them in person from a reputable, qualified provider. Please don't attempt these walks without appropriate levels of fitness and equipment. If you don't have the required levels of knowledge and experience, only undertake them accompanied by somebody who does. You can find out more about me and my background and experience at my website, paulperambulates.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Paul Perambulates. If you did, please subscribe and share.